Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief program. I'm your host, Jenny. Today, we've got some exciting stories to share. First up, Temu and Shein, two big names in online shopping, are planning to hike their prices for U.S. customers starting next week. This is due to new tariffs imposed by President Trump, which have made it more expensive for these companies to do business in America. Despite the price hikes, both companies are encouraging shoppers to keep buying, but it's definitely a sign of how global trade tensions are affecting everyday consumers. Next, in sports news, Hong Kong's triathletes are racing against the clock. Hilda Choi is competing in the Asia Triathlon Cup to boost her chances at the national games, even as top athletes focus on upcoming World Cup races. Meanwhile, some athletes are facing setbacks, like Cade Wright, who is working on improving her swimming skills in the UK. The competition is fierce, and everyone is pushing hard to make their mark in the upcoming events. Finally, China is stepping up its game in border security and national identity. The government is mobilizing researchers to develop a strong narrative about borderlands, emphasizing stability and sovereignty. This new approach aims to strengthen China's control over its borders while promoting a unified Chinese identity, especially after recent ethnic unrest. It's a strategic move to reinforce national pride and security while managing complex ethnic and geopolitical issues. Please continue to watch for more detailed updates. South China Morning Post vividly reports how US-based Chinese e-commerce giants Temu and Shein are preparing to implement price hikes starting April 25, a direct consequence of Donald Trump's tariffs and trade policies. These companies, which have revolutionized online shopping with their ultra-low prices and aggressive digital advertising, now face increased operating costs due to the 145% tariffs on Chinese goods and the end of duty-free exemptions for low-value parcels. The tariffs, which Trump signed into law earlier this month, threaten to erode their competitive edge, prompting both companies to subtly inform customers of upcoming price adjustments. Temu, owned by PDD Holdings, offers a broad range of products from household items to electronics, while Shein specializes in inexpensive fashion and beauty products targeted at young women through social media influencers. Both platforms have sharply cut their advertising budgets recently, signaling potential trouble for social media giants like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok that rely heavily on ad revenue. As the U.S. cracks down on the long-standing exemption that allowed millions of cheap Chinese parcels duty-free entry, these e-commerce platforms are urging customers to shop before the price increases take effect, emphasizing their efforts to keep prices low and ensure smooth deliveries amid the trade upheaval. Meanwhile, South China Morning Post highlights the determined spirit of Hong Kong triathlete Hilda Choi, who ventures into the Asia Triathlon Cup in Dexing, China, despite her country's top athletes skipping the event. Choi, a bronze medalist at the 2018 Asian Games, sees this race as a vital opportunity to bolster her chances at the upcoming national games, especially after a challenging continental sprint championship where she finished 24th and struggled in the relay segment. Coach Andrew Wright emphasizes the importance of fast swim segments to stay competitive, noting that Choi's recent performances reveal her potential to stay in the race through the biking and running legs if she can improve her swimming. The story also sheds light on Cade Wright and Tallulah, who are juggling studies and training in the UK, with Cade aiming to catch up on lost swimming time and both preparing for the May 10 World Cup in Chengdu, which doubles as a national games qualifier. Despite setbacks like Cade's interrupted training due to COVID-19 and her upcoming exams, the coach remains optimistic about their long-term development, underscoring the complex balancing act of international training, academic commitments, and elite competition. In a somber turn, BBC reports on the extradition case of Rebecca Richardson, a British teacher accused of child sexual assault in Turkey. Richardson, who has been living abroad for nearly 2 decades, faces allegations linked to an incident involving a young child at an international school in Istanbul in early 2019. Her court appearance in Westminster Magistrates' Court revealed her struggles with depression, which doctors say would worsen if she were extradited and imprisoned. Medical assessments presented conflicting views on the severity of her condition, but both agreed her mental health would deteriorate under the stress of extradition. Richardson, who has lived in Turkey, Mexico, and Hong Kong, was granted conditional bail, with her extradition hearing scheduled for June 2. The case underscores the complex intersection of mental health, legal proceedings, and international extradition, raising questions about her well-being and the legal process ahead. South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong's e-commerce industry is actively seeking new avenues for growth amid the escalating U.S. tariffs. Many companies are postponing significant investments and strategic decisions, choosing instead to diversify into traditional markets like Europe, Australia, and emerging regions such as Southeast Asia and Central and South America. For instance, firms like 91 App and Moral Team are shifting focus from the US to markets like Singapore, Taiwan, and Japan, leveraging their adaptability and the relatively low shipping costs in these areas. Industry leaders suggest that setting up warehouses in the US could help mitigate the impact of tariff cancellations, while emphasizing the importance of expanding local sales and building stronger brands to withstand prolonged trade tensions. The South China Morning Post also highlights how China's stance in the ongoing trade war has become more assertive and strategic, reflecting a fundamental shift in its approach since Trump's initial tariffs. Beijing's rhetoric now openly defies U.S. actions, with President Xi Jinping condemning bullying and asserting China's resilience. Official figures like Xia Baolong have emphasized that the U.S. aims to threaten China's very survival, signaling a hardened stance. Unlike the earlier phase of the trade conflict, where China's responses were more economically motivated, the current strategy involves a broader political and national security dimension. Experts note that China perceives the U.S.'s tariffs as part of a larger effort to reshape global trade rules, prompting Beijing to adopt a more combative posture and prepare for a prolonged confrontation. Hong Kong's leadership is also taking a firm stance, emphasizing the need for local businesses to adapt and prepare for a long-term battle against U.S. measures, according to South China Morning Post. Chief Executive John Lee Ka-chiu and other officials are advocating for diversification of production and sales networks, upgrading brands from Made in China to Famous Brands in China, and expanding into new markets to reduce dependence on the U.S. The government is committed to supporting local firms in branding and domestic sales, while also calling for stronger multilateral trade efforts. This strategic shift underscores Hong Kong's determination to safeguard its economic stability amid the intensified trade war, with officials urging society to unite and bolster resilience against what they describe as hegemonic aggression from the U.S. The South China Morning Post vividly details China's strategic efforts to reinforce its borders through a concerted mobilization of researchers and academics. The Chinese government recognizes the importance of borderland security amid ongoing disputes and ethnic tensions in regions like Tibet and Xinjiang, as well as maritime conflicts in the South China Sea. Beijing is actively promoting indigenous expertise in border governance, emphasizing the need for research that combines history, politics, and modern technology, including digital frontiers and airspace sovereignty. The narrative underscores a desire to craft a strong, unified Chinese identity rooted in historical continuity, particularly referencing the Qing dynasty's borders, which many scholars argue are the foundation of modern China's territorial claims. This effort is also driven by a suspicion of Western academic perspectives, which Beijing claims aim to weaken its sovereignty by promoting narratives like the New Qing history, challenging the legitimacy of Chinese borders and emphasizing ethnic diversity and imperial fragmentation. To counter foreign influence, China is establishing dedicated research centers and advocating for a theoretical framework that aligns with its national interests, emphasizing the importance of border regions for stability, security, and international influence in an era where sovereignty increasingly extends into digital and airspace domains. Meanwhile, the South China Morning Post offers an intimate look into Elizabeth Moss's personal life, highlighting her emotional journey through her acting career and motherhood. Moss, renowned for her role in The Handmaid's Tale, reflects on her deep connection to her character June Osborne as the show reaches its final season. Her recent motherhood, welcoming her first child in 2024, has profoundly influenced her perspective on her work, making her approach more emotional and personal. The article also delves into her past romantic relationships, notably her marriage to Fred Armisen, which ended after just 8 months amid tensions related to her Scientologist faith. Moss's dating history reveals a pattern of high-profile relationships, including a brief engagement rumor with Tom Cruise, which she has publicly dismissed. Her candid reflections on her past marriage and her current life underscore her resilience and the complex interplay between her personal beliefs, career, and public image, painting a vivid portrait of an actress navigating her evolving identity in the spotlight. In a separate narrative, the South China Morning Post explores the intriguing romance between Lil Wayne and his private chef, Leah Angeline Murphy. After a contentious departure from his previous chef, Medlock, who sued him over wrongful termination, Lil Wayne is reportedly dating Murphy, who has been living and working with him since 2023. Murphy, a talented content creator and culinary expert, shares her experiences touring with the rapper and growing her personal brand, balancing her role as a live-in chef with social media influence. Their relationship appears to be affectionate, with Murphy celebrating her 35th birthday alongside Lil Wayne, though rumors suggest she may have other romantic interests, such as LA creative Easy Street. The story captures the complexity of celebrity relationships, blending the glamour of tour life with the realities of personal connections, leaving the true status of their romance open to interpretation. Murphy's multifaceted life as a chef and influencer highlights the modern intersection of fame, personal branding, and romance in the digital age. According to South China Morning Post, the landscape of live music has dramatically shifted over the past 2 decades, with concert tours now generating staggering revenue that surpasses traditional album sales. The top 10 highest-grossing tours, all within the last 20 years, highlight a new era where artists like Taylor Swift, U2, and Ed Sheeran have amassed billions through their live performances. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, which wrapped up in December 2023, stands out as the highest-grossing ever, earning over $2 billion from 149 shows, a testament to her unparalleled popularity and the lucrative power of touring in the streaming age. Meanwhile, veteran acts like the Rolling Stones and Elton John continue to dominate, with their tours pulling in hundreds of millions, proving that live shows remain a vital revenue stream for artists across generations. From South China Morning Post's detailed recount, the evolution of concert touring underscores a trend where spectacle and scale are paramount. Ed Sheeran's Divided by Tour, with 258 shows across 6 continents, broke records with nearly 9 million tickets sold, emphasizing the global reach of modern artists. Coldplay's ongoing Music of the Spheres tour, projected to exceed $1 billion, exemplifies the immense financial potential of large-scale productions, featuring hundreds of shows and a continuous schedule that capitalizes on post-pandemic demand. These tours are not just about music, they are immersive experiences, with elaborate stage designs, massive venues, and dedicated fan engagement that elevate live performances into cultural events, ensuring artists' financial dominance in the industry's new landscape. Meanwhile, China's strategic use of propaganda in the face of escalating trade tensions with the United States reveals a sophisticated shift in its diplomatic messaging, as reported by Yahoo US. The Chinese government has ramped up its efforts to sway global opinion through social media campaigns, AI-generated videos, and targeted messaging aimed at American audiences disillusioned with their own government's policies. By leveraging familiar narratives, such as Reagan's warnings about trade wars and Mao's resistance, Beijing seeks to discredit U.S. policies and bolster its image as a responsible global player. This propaganda surge, which is more nuanced and targeted than in previous years, aims to rally domestic support and sway international opinion, especially amid the ongoing trade war, demonstrating China's evolving approach to soft power and information warfare in a complex geopolitical arena. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Scrolling through the headlines, another crazy day. 6 degrees of stories, connecting in their way. From the weather to the sports, and everything we see. People making news on TV screens for free. 6 degree world, where the news comes in a whirl. Every story ties together like a ribbon in a twirl. Sit back and watch it all, big and small they call. From city lights to countryside, we're connected after all.